Episode of the Pu'u Muay Thai Podcast is brought to you by pmtlifestyle.com. Authentic Muay Thai lifestyle by Pu'u. Definitely go check out the website at pmtlifestyle.com for some awesome lifestyle merchandise. That's for those of you out there either involved in Muay Thai, looking at getting involved in Muay Thai, and embrace a healthier lifestyle to live the life of the Nok Muay. Go check it out.
I want to talk about Black Room at Teep Studios. If you enjoy the content of this podcast, you will definitely enjoy the value that you get out of the Black Room and being a member of the Black Room. What it is it's a subscriber-based way to support the podcast. If you enjoy the podcast and want it to continue, I'm asking for your help. And in exchange, you're going to get an underground view of Muay Thai, American Muay Thai, as well as within Thailand. We have people who are now working on the ground in Thailand that are helping us get media, content, all that stuff. We're posting it there on Black Room, as well as behind-the-scenes footage of the podcast recordings when we're recording. After I stop recording for stuff that we broadcast, we put some subscriber-based only content on there. So you're going to really get a lot of value out of that subscription. Okay, it's not just supporting the podcast. We also have podcast subscriber-only merchandise that's coming out as well here in 2024. So you have to be a part of the Black Room in order to get access to that. So I'm asking you for your help on that, but I know that it's not so much of you helping me. It's going to be us giving you a ton of value that you're going to get and just enjoy it. And it's only $5 a month. All right, you can cancel it anytime. Every little bit counts. Please go join it. The link is down in the show notes. All right. Anyways, sit back and enjoy the show. Sawadee Kap. Welcome to this episode of the Pu'u Muay Thai Podcast. Today is May 9th, 2025. So just got back from Ventura with our new build out for the Ventura Academy. Back here is nice and hot here in Scottsdale at the Black Room at Teep Studios. Excited for everything going on. We're also live over on TikTok at Pu'u Muay Thai. If you ever want to catch us live, we're on there. Been on there for many years now. Just super stoked and grateful for everybody that's on TikTok, all our followers and stuff on there as well. Had a great community there, as well as our Instagram and all the students at Pu'u Muay Thai that have made these moves happen. All right. So spent 3 days pretty much nonstop at the new location for Pu'u Muay Thai in Ventura at 2424 East Main Street. It's just 4 blocks away from our current location. Like, if you had a good arm, you might be able to throw a rock that far. Not really, but it's still pretty close. All right. So spent 4 days just going over 3 days going over the floor plan, going over everything that's just entailed, logistics, making sure everything's finalized. Landlord was taking a little bit extra time to make sure the space is all sorted, ready for us to move in. So now that we have that, we are rocking and rolling and getting ready, full-blown build-out time. So something that's just really, I'm really stoked to have that going. I'll be back there next week because we have Eat, Sleep, Teep 3 semi-contact, Muay Thai semi-contact series at Tuttle Gym at Ventura High School. This is going to be a third in the series. We have 3 more on the schedule that are coming up. So stay tuned for that. We'll have the next dates announced end of next week. All right. But just spent 2.5 hours with Coach Ryan going over matchmaking, everything for that. We have over 100 registered athletes at this event. So to give you perspective, our first event, I believe we had around 50. So in 3 events, we've over doubled in size. Just insane to me to see that kind of growth. And Ryan and Carol, who are part of the promotion partners on this project, it's just amazing to see. And there's rumors that there might be another one in another state. So stay tuned for that one. All right. But with that, today, what I wanted to talk about is the future of Muay Thai officiating and raising the standard here, especially in the USA and around the world. All right. So officiating is a thankless job. For those of you, I don't talk about it a whole lot on here because there's not a lot I'm allowed to really talk about due to code of conduct for officiating, things that like we all agree on. Like if there's a controversial decision, there's a reason why you don't hear the referee going off and commentating with, giving commentary to the media. There's a reason why, because that goes against the code of conduct for ring officials for all combat sports, Muay Thai, kickboxing, MMA, boxing, right? Especially those like big money fights in boxing and MMA, you're not going to hear about it. So if you didn't know that, now you kind of, I guess you would know why, right? So just making sure that I'm on the right side of the microphone here too, because that happens sometimes as well. But going on to it, one of the things that I've always tried to do is I'm always trying to learn. And I think every official is just trying to learn and do their best. For me personally, the reason why I got into officiating wasn't like, hey, I'm doing this because I want to do officiating. I just kind of saw it as a natural way to give back to the sport and allow it to grow in an organic way, because there's a lot of people that get into officiating. They just get thrown into it because they were doing boxing or they were doing MMA. And there's some things that are good and bad about that. Good because like most combat sports, the way they think are generally the same. And, what I mean by generally the same is where you think about the safety of the athlete, of the fighter, of the boxer, whatever they call them. All right. So they all have this at the forefront of their mind. But Muay Thai is very unique in the sense of how it operates, how a referee stands. It's in Muay Thai, the referee stands way closer than in boxing, kickboxing, and MMA. All right. In boxing, they almost like run back a couple steps to stay far away. They only come close during like a 10-second clapper before 10 seconds of the round is about to end. So that way they can get ready to step in between the boxers. But in Muay Thai, we're kind of in that space all the time. And this is something that you'll see a lot of MMA background referees, because in MMA, they stand further away generally. Same thing in boxing and kickboxing. In Muay Thai, there's so much going on. A referee has to be there to be able to stop and prevent anything happening from accidental fouls happening, because it's very easy to kick somebody and have a follow-up kick when the person's down, but they didn't expect them to be a downed opponent, right? So you have to think about how you save the athlete, how you save the fighter, and how you work with them, because it's just unique. Muay Thai is very unique as an official. I was actually at one of the state boxing commission meetings for Muay Thai officiating for a state. I'm not going to name it, but that one of the things that the referee said that came from boxing and like MMA, he said, well, shouldn't a fighter just stop if I say stop? I mean, obey my command at all times, because that's what one of the commands is, right? And absolutely. But the head of that boxing organization, that boxing commission, actually said, hey, guys, there's so much going on in Muay Thai. You can't be eating your donuts and your breads and all that stuff. You got to be in shape to be in there, because stuff happens so fast. You have to be able to stop it. All right. So just to give you like a frame of reference for like the line of thinking for some people, because in boxing, kickboxing, MMA, like that verbal command is going to be a lot more significant. Where in Muay Thai, someone could be sweeping them in the middle of a follow-up elbow, and you're saying stop from across the ring while the crowd's going crazy. That elbow might go, and then they registered, oh, they said stop, right? There's a lot that that's involved with it. But I just want you to understand that standard is very important. So the education of a Muay Thai ring official, and a ring official isn't just a referee. It's not just a judge. It's also, they have corner inspectors. They're people that supervise hand wrapping, that supervise taping. All right. So all these different things that come into officiating. And those of you on TikTok, just know that I will come over and answer your questions here towards the end of the show. But I just wanted to come on here real quick and say hi. So with that, guys, when it comes into officiating, there's a lot that goes into it. Also, there's, like I was saying, the inspector checking the hand wraps. They're walking the fight of the ring, making sure they have their groin protector, making sure they have the correct size equipment, making sure they are ready for the walkout when their walkout music starts, making sure that the corner is not doing anything illicit, or if somebody's wanting to stop a fight, the inspector is the one that does that. All right, they're kind of like your guy. Or if, unfortunately, if you end up having to go to the hospital, they're the ones that help you get into the ambulance and do all that stuff too. The supervisor. So supervisor of the ring, they're the one that like help enforce the rules, and they oversee the referees, the judges, the inspectors. They oversee the whole match, including weigh-ins and things like that as well. There's also a timekeeper. How you do timekeeping. Is there a save by the bell rule? Is there no save by the bell in any round? Is there only a save by the bell in the last round? So we go over all this stuff in my course, which is known as the Siam Standard Muay Thai Ring Official course. If you go to muaythairingofficial.com, that's where it's at for more information. Again, that's muaythairingofficial.com. My whole purpose of this is I've attended so many of these courses, right? And there's some where people speak Thai, they're teaching primarily in Thai. If you don't speak a lick of Thai, you're going to be confused as heck, especially if the translator's not good. So it's just one thing that's very important to understand. Also, when it comes into that, everybody has their own way of teaching, own style of teaching, right? And you can only squeeze so much into like a 1 day or a 3 day intensive. A 3 day intensive, like shout out to Pete Peterson. That's a lot of information for some people. All right. Yeah, Pete Peterson has an excellent training course, TBASA, that's going around. If you see his stuff out there, like in-person training, absolutely go to it. There's a few other training official courses that are in person. Like you should always be trying to go and learn because everybody has their own unique experience and upbringing and mentorship. So you're going to get that different experience in maybe scenarios and issues that happen in fights where maybe you end up in that scenario one day as a ring official. You'll have a better understanding of how to address it. That way you can make a judgment that's not only safe for the athletes, but is the fairest decision for the athletes as well. Because one of the other driving factors for me, for example, is I had some terrible ring officials. One time I got teeped off balance and the guy called it as a knockdown. And it was an MMA referee. And the thing is, the definition of a knockdown is for these boxing guys is anything but the soles of your feet touching the ground, because that's what it comes from in boxing. They're not getting teeped off balance in boxing. All right. So for them, they understand, they see that and they think it's a knockdown, where getting teeped off balance isn't a knockdown just in of itself. All right. But I've had other times with the referees not being firm enough and they're saying stuff. They'll say, stop, I stop. And the other guy keeps kneeing and he just lets us keep going. Right. So these are all things that we cover inside of the Siam standard course. So the reason for the course and how we have it structured is it starts online. So to be perfectly clear, your online certification that we give you, that doesn't really mean much other than you went through this preliminary course. All right. And it is intensive. All right. It takes anywhere from 4 to 6 hours to go through the whole course. There's 3 pop quizzes. And then there's a 100-question final exam. The pop quizzes are meant to be simple, the refreshers over each section of the course. The final exam is meant to be intensive, and I do rotate the questions and stuff like that as well. My goal with that is to go through every quarter, every 6 months, to go through and revise the questions, because not only do rules and regulations evolve and change, there's also different scenarios that come up that I would like to include in this course that give newer people coming into officiating to think about, what would I do in that scenario? So to get a passing exam on the final for your online certification, it requires an 85%. All right. And we make it really thought-provoking for you when you go into it. We also have a whole online training community. So it has a community course and then it has a community discussion. So one of the things that's important to understand is the code of conduct I talked about. So a lot of these things that happen in officiating, we're not allowed to talk to anybody about it outside of our team that we have. So like the team that worked the event and your chairman and your supervisor. So what's cool about this and this group is we actually have a non-disclosure agreement that we have everybody sign. It is a legal document that says that your things that you discuss in that group can't be shared by anybody outside of that group. All right. So just to kind of reinforce the seriousness of it, because I would like for it to become a safe place to talk about these things online and not just in person or on like a FaceTime scenario. All right. Because they're really valuable moments that people can learn from. But also you have to understand that ring officials are people and they make mistakes too. And that's something that they always try to go back and refine. When people make mistakes, they always take it as a learning experience and do their best to not ever let that happen again. All right. For me, I've officiated a couple thousand bouts I'm coming up on 10 years of officiating. And, I've made some mistakes. Like it happens. Your best, none of them affected the outcome of a bout. And I always do my best to be on my A game, have enough rest. hydrated, eating well, staying in shape. You guys know this. I train, very active, running and everything like that as well. But some people don't quite understand that. So that's the purpose for that online forum and what we're trying to do with that. And we're going to be expanding out this online training course. So the in-person certification is different than the online certification. So what the online certification does, it allows you to be invited to work at one of our chosen semi-contact Muay Thai events. So there's a whole host of these semi-contact events around the United States. And the ones that we allow you to go to get supervision from that we're working with, that's what this will allow you to do. All right. It doesn't guarantee work or anything like that. It just allows you the opportunity to say, hey, I have this basic understanding. I want to continue to learn. So once we have this certification, we have ours at the Eat Sleep Teep event. I have people that are coming to shadow our officials and to get hands-on experience as inspectors, as timekeepers, as judges, as ring officials, right? With our experienced ring officials that we have that are on our team those days when we do work. So the important thing to understand with it also is that in-person training that you get is so key for semi-contact. Semi-contact is honestly, in my opinion, more difficult to officiate for a referee, for example, than say full contact, because there's different commands. In full contact, we have stop, break, fight, right? Full contact, we add in some different commands such as tone it down. We call time. We make sure that people get their full 3 rounds. We make sure they're working with each other and they're gaining experience. If there's a mismatch, we want them to get the full experience. We don't want them to like TKO them with a body shot or something like that. We don't want that. We want them to develop their Muay Thai and lift each other up. That way everybody elevates and we can develop into full contact. All right. That way they can go back to work the next day, go to church, whatever it may be, and feel like they just got in some hard sparring. So that's our goal with that. So with these in-person certifications that we have, the important thing is to make sure we can minimize the amount of time that you have to dedicate in person. Because I understand traveling, all that stuff can be very hard to do. It's not easy, and it basically lowers that barrier to entry a little bit by offering the online certification and making sure the people that show up to the in-person trainings have a comprehensive understanding of at least the fundamentals of officiating, which every position in Muay Thai does as an official and what the importance is of it. This is also vastly beneficial for coaches, for athletes to understand as well, because then you're getting into the minds of how the judges are thinking, what the referees are doing for your benefit as well. All right. So it's not just for people who want to do officiating, but it's beneficial for coaches who are trying to understand of what the Muay Thai judges are thinking. And it's great to see the education of Muay Thai growing. And, it's great to see because the fighters deserve better. We always want to get better for you guys. All right. As official, myself, I always want to get better and strive to do my best for the job. My boss has assigned me to the position, so I'm going to try to do it. But with the Siam standard, what we're doing is we're also going to be arranging some in-person workshops as well as online courses as well, and expanding on the learning criteria, going over the different rules and regulations of different organizations. In the online course, we do go over this as well about how to find that information with your local regulatory body and the different rules you might encounter and how to manage them and how to discuss them with the supervisor when you are assigned to a job. All right. So it's overall just a way to get in and figure out how you can be the best ring official and keep fighters safe. Because that is, at the end of the day, that's what it's about. Okay. And using Muay Thai style, using the Siam standard, that's what's important. One of the things that goes into that too is like the referee's shoes and the ring official's shoes. If you've ever been to Thailand, you've seen the referees, they have the boots that they wear. So I've partnered up with a manufacturer in Thailand as some of my samples coming in here soon. But if anybody's interested, the leather is like the same quality as like some other brands like Doc Martens and things like this. And it has a certain specific stick for the shoe, and they're comfortable to move around in, and they protect your ankle for the ring official, and it just looks professional. So if you're interested in this, stay tuned at MuayThaiRingOfficial.com. Anybody that's in the course for Muay Thai, for the Siam Standard Muay Thai Ring Official beginners course, Anybody who's enrolled in any of our programs will get a discount on that as well, but it's available for anybody to purchase too. All right, so stay tuned for that. I'm really excited about it. But with that said, I want to kind of jump over to some of the questions that we have over on TikTok. So I see some of them came through. Wow, Fernando Chavez, thanks for all the love and the likes. Nate Dogg, thank you. Leo, thank you. I see a lot of people came in here. So I see one. Most people, Nate Dogg over on TikTok said, most people fail because they quit, not because they actually failed. Ooh, that's a good one, man. It's true. The quitter never wins, and the winner never quits, as my Thai instructor would say. Fernando Chavez, thank you. And then we also got Wayne Stryker. Thanks for the roses, man. Appreciate you. Joseph, thanks for the gifts. You think I can make it to one championship starting at 17? Says Jesus is the only true God over on TikTok. Yeah, man. You're 17. That is young. That is young. 17 is young. You're not, in Asia, look at Joe Nadawat, for example. He came into his peak in his 30s, man. He wasn't really competitive in Thailand. He became competitive in his late 20s and in his 30s. It's a great example of a recent example, but there's multiple ones. That's just one of the more recent ones, and it's at the top of my head. 17 is a perfect age to start. Maybe one championship's not around by the time you get to that peak. Maybe there's a different promotion, but if you're trying to get to a high level, 17 is definitely a good age to be doing that, my friend. All right. So with that said, thank you everybody for tuning in today to the Pu'u Muay Thai Podcast. And please, if you are on here and you enjoy listening to this podcast, make sure to leave a comment if you're watching on YouTube, if you're listening on YouTube Podcast, if you're on Apple Podcasts, you leave me a review. Send me a screenshot of your review via DMs. I will give you a discount code for the online shop at any point in time. You get one time though. DM it at Pu'u Muay Thai on Instagram. You can also contact us via the podcast form on our website, podcast.pu'umuaythai.com. All right, 20% off. You go leave a review on Apple Podcasts. I will give you a 20% off one-time discount code for our online Pu'u Muay Thai merchandise shop. All right, and just to touch up again, if you don't already know, we're switching over our podcast content to a new channel on Instagram. It is at Muay Thai Podcast. Yes, that handle is available. We got it. It's, of course, still the Pu'u Muay Thai Podcast, just to make it a little bit more segmented. If you're following us just for the podcast, we appreciate you if you follow at Pu'u Muay Thai as well and support our academy and our training programs. But with that said, thank you so much for tuning in today, and I will see you next time. Sawadee Kap. All right, that's going to be it for today. Thank you so much for tuning in today to the Pu'u Muay Thai Podcast. If you enjoy the content, go leave a review over on Apple Podcasts and on Spotify. Give us a rating. It means the world to us. Also, if you want to be a guest on the Pu'u Muay Thai Podcast, or if you just want to shout out to your friend, go check us out at podcast.pu'umuaythai.com. You can submit to be able to be a guest on the podcast. You can submit what you want to talk about. Also, if you want to just give a shout out, there's a button for that too. Sawadee Kap.